All right, should be recording. Hey, patrons.
What's up, patrons?
This is
Y'all.
the first time we're ever going to
Boo.
drop the video early of an episode. We're going to do Tootsie. It's okay.
Yeah.
We've only been talking for an hour and a half so far. I
Yep.
thought we'd be
Yep.
starting an hour and a half ago, but we're all warmed up. How about that?
Oh yeah. This is gonna be a fun one.
Yep.
And you're gonna get to see behind the scenes. So
Mm-hmm.
what we do here is we both got our garage band. We now do garage band finally.
Yeah,
Should have done this forever ago.
I know.
And you ready to click?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, click. Okay. And we clap. 1, 2, 3.
So I've done the cold open. You're coming in with welcome, everybody.
Okay. Dang it, I like to hear your cold open first.
I know it's not written yet. Shoot.
Oh, no. The future isn't written yet.
I'll include that later. Another
Okay.
behind the scenes thing. Sometimes I write the cold open beforehand. Sometimes I don't. This one is a don't.
You've been on your vacation. It's all good.
Right. Yep.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Perfect Movie, a podcast hosted by two regular guys who went from couch to marathon, and now they're making their way back to the couch again. This is Anthony speaking, one of those two aforementioned Gomers, coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, joined as always by my friend Steven, all the way out in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Steven's choice.
Dude, this one's going to be fun. Here's something I love, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking about, and we're going to be talking about a lot in the future, broadening our minds,
Yep.
growing our canon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So, this is a movie I'd never seen,
Right.
and I've heard about a bunch.
Yeah.
And super fun to be like, Aaron, let's have a movie night and let's watch this movie we've never seen before.
Neither of you
So
had ever seen it, right? I'm assuming.
you know what? I think Aaron had actually seen it.
Okay.
But she like couldn't remember a lot about it.
Okay.
And so yeah, we do this date night thing lately because we're in
Uh-huh.
quarantine still, sort of, where
Yep.
like the girls do a date night downstairs.
Oh, I love this. Yeah.
And so like they watch Frozen 2 or
What a
Tangled
surprise.
or
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker currently. And then Aaron, and then I'll like I've got my shaker and I'll
Uh-huh.
make a mixed drink.
Mm-hmm.
Lately it's been a Moscow Mule or a
Mm.
vodka gimlet.
Sure.
And then Aaron and I go up to our room and we watch our own movie.
Yeah.
And that was a couple weeks ago, and it was Tootsie, and it was a
Yeah.
blast, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Now, you mentioned that you've heard about it, right? It's referenced a lot, I think. And so I want to play you this clip to start out.
Okay.
It's from 30 Rock.
Oh, okay.
Season 1, episode 18. She and Floyd, you remember Floyd from Cleveland?
Okay.
Her boyfriend, now I can't remember the guy's name. Who's the actor? He's a Saturday Night Live actor. Um and anyways, they fall asleep watching Tootsie.
Okay.
Okay, and they wake up and it's just the Tootsie DVD menu playing over and over again. And it's an
Yeah.
awkward thing because they've fallen asleep together the night before. There was no hanky-panky at all. They just fell asleep on the couch.
Okay.
And so they're trying to make kind of like weird romantic conversation in the morning. And so I'm going to play you this quote.
Okay.
There we go. All right. Walk it off, Scarecrow. That was really fun last night. I think Tootsie's a very well-crafted movie.
Yeah, they use it as an example in all the screenplay books.
Nice.
First of all, I could go for a while deconstructing the anatomy of that joke, right? Like it's a very simple, I mean, it's a very specific joke, right? Because it's for the industry. Everybody knows
Got it.
Tootsie is used as an example in screenplay classes and screenplay books.
Yeah.
But when I remember this episode, I mean, this is, when was 30 Rock season 1? I don't know, more than 10 years ago.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in
Yeah.
there.
I remember feeling like Tina Fey knows me. Because
you felt known and seen.
I did, because when I was, this is going to come up a little bit later. We're going to do this a little bit different. This is a Stevens choice, but we're
Right.
doing it a little bit differently because when I took screenwriting class and film history class in college, Tootsie was ever present.
Okay, really?
As an example, just like Liz Lemon just said in this weird pillow talk, where they're what a weird thing to say, right? Yeah, they use it in all the screenplay books as an example. It's totally 100% true. And so it's one of these things where I will watch a movie that I've never seen and I'm like, oh, all of these references that I've seen in shows and movies from the past, I'm like, oh, that's what that means. I get it now. And I felt like I'm so happy Anthony's watching this because you're going to get a whole bunch of
Yeah.
references that you've never gotten before
That's
in
awesome.
TV and movies. Yeah.
Something else is that we haven't really talked a whole lot about on the podcast is like you were really into writing, and
Yeah.
people have, if they've been listening to, I don't know if this is episode 25, 30, something like that. Maybe this is like 33 according to our, like when we put the little upload FTP thingy. It's like
Yeah.
03. So it's in the 30s now.
Yeah.
You've enjoyed Steven's writing in all of the cold opens, like,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
so we haven't talked a whole lot about that in the 12 years of the Gomers. That
One idea I had for perfect movie, get ready for this, I've never told you about this before,
okay.
is the goal is not to make a list of perfect movies and send them to the aliens.
Yeah.
It's to write the perfect movie. And so we would, at the end of the podcast, we have 100, 200 episodes, we would have figured out the formula. And then I would write the perfect movie and it would get made. That was one of the ideas I had for the podcast.
Well,
and
still, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Always in the back of my mind is Tootsie.
Okay. Yeah.
It's so odd. And so that's why I remember that clip. I had to search for it.
Yeah.
I had to like Google Liz Lemon Tootsie, and there's several episodes that are like Tootsie based.
Okay.
There's another
Yeah.
episode where she pretends to be later on in the series, she pretends to be another woman so that she can catch her dad out who she suspects of having an affair. And so she dresses up as another woman to try to like catch him out, and her name is Dorothy Michaels.
Oh, okay.
Her fake name.
That would have gone right over my head. Not
Yeah.
anymore, dude.
Yep.
Not anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, what about the fact that he was Michael Dorsey
Mm-hmm.
and then he's Dorothy Michaels? Genius.
Yes. It's just one of the things that makes this script purportedly perfect. I think we're going to talk a lot about that in the trial. And actually, I'm looking forward to getting there pretty quick. So I'm
okay.
Like maybe a couple more things. Let's get into the one sheet.
Yeah, totally.
I got to read this VHS synopsis. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I had one thing real quick. Because we have not mentioned, this is the first movie since we've gotten new music for our podcast.
Oh,
and we just need to mention that at the top real quick. It was on The Martian. It's been on other episodes, but we have not recorded a movie since having new, like we've not talked to each other.
Right.
Like everything else has been in post-production. So we just want to mention we have this new unbelievable music by Davis Harwell. Wrote us, like a literal film composer, wrote us a score. We love it. We'll talk about it in the future. I just wanted to mention it because it's so different than this.
I love the music in Tootsie for some reason. And while we watched it last night as a family, every time that theme came on, I was doing a special little dance.
Oh,
here,
yeah.
This is for our patrons right here, because we're videoing this.
Yeah.
So whenever can you play that music again? I'm going to do the little dance for you.
Yeah.
Here's the dance I was doing. It's just kind of like a wave your hands in the air, like you just don't care. And the boys, of course, are like, Well, Jack was like, keep doing it. And Noah was kind of rolling his eyes.
No, I was like,
but
Dad.
even though I love the Tootsie music, it is not it is not what our new music sounds like for our
No.
intro. When you sent that to me, dude, I mean, I got goosebumps. My jaw was on the ground. Like I was like, it's real music. It's amazing.
It's
Love
so
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's so great. So Davis, seriously, he's a subscriber now. A
Mhm.
great. He would like. I thought about asking him in like November,
Yeah.
and I was like, it would be like crazy. I didn't even ask. I was too worried, too nervous,
Uh-huh.
not too worried. Just like he would never even return our call, and he actually did it. So that rules.
Uh-huh.
Davis, you rock. And also the music by the music on Tootsie, Dave Grusin,
Yeah.
who is film composer for two of our other favorite movies, Goonies.
Really?
Yep. So he wrote the score to Goonies and The Firm.
No way.
Which
Those
is
sound
another
so different than
right.
this.
So he's like a Sidney Pollack dude. So he did Goonies. So actually, you know what? We'll go to the one sheet.
Good. Let's go.
We'll go to the one sheet. Okay, so Tootsie, the movie we're talking about today, released December 17th, 1982.
Yep.
Budget was $21 million. Grossed at the box office $177 million worldwide.
Now, before we recorded, I was like, when did it come out again? 1982, 1983. You said 1982, and then you told me it was December. Here's why I asked you that question, because Tootsie was the second highest grossing movie in 1983.
Oh, okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. But why does that make sense? Because like it was only around for 15 days, like 13,
right,
whatever.
Exactly. And so it wouldn't get on the 1982 box office records. So it was Empire Strikes Back, Tootsie, 1 and 2 for 1983.
Dang. Wow.
A big hit. A huge hit.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So because I had it in 82, the box office went E.T.
Yeah.
number 1.
Yep.
I didn't put Tootsie in here. I think it was actually on there, but I don't know if they talk about like future gross on there. I don't know. Anyways, the movies released around the same time. There were E.T., Rocky 3, 48 Hours, Conan the Barbarian, which on the Total Recall episode we kind of mentioned that a little bit. Raiders of the Lost Ark, huge one on our canon. I mean, like perfect movie. Star Trek 2, Partner to Wrath-a-Con, Tron. Richard Pryor did a comedy special called Live on the Sunset Strip. That was on the top box office.
Yeah, that used to be a big thing, right? Like comedy specials, they'd release them in theaters, like Eddie Murphy Raw. Like those would make a ton of money.
Right.
It's a different world, bro.
We watched Raw, like our roommates.
Really?
I remember that. And okay, a couple other things from the one sheet. Directed by Sidney Pollack, director of one of my other favorite movies, The Firm. It probably would make an indisputable or indefensible. I think we'll do that on the indefensibles.
Well, that's interesting then that he's got the same composer. Like he's like, I must have, what was the guy's name?
Dave
the
Grusin.
Composer. I must have Dave Grusin back. I loved his work on Tootsie.
Totally. And Rotten Tomatoes, 90% by critics. I mean, it's critically adored. 81% by the audience. Couple songs released around then. Number 1 song on the Billboard charts was Physical.
And
Eye of the Tiger came out that year.
Makes sense. Rocky 3,
Yep. I Love Rock and Roll. And then dude, so and then I just thought, just to place us in 1982 E.T. came out. You know what, this is gonna this is for the patrons. I'm just gonna show you what a catalog looked like in 1982. This is kind of like the look,
right? Like a clothes catalog and a shoes catalog. You're showing like a Sears catalog page.
Like J.C. Penney's. Here's the top toys from 1982. I don't know if you can see that.
Looks like a bunch of like big calculators and dolls, right? Some Transformers looks like. Yeah. Wow.
Yep. Matchbox cars, He-Man
Mm-hmm.
figures,
Yeah.
um, typewriters, like it's just like looking at this looks like um just past when we were like so I'm like 3 years old when this came out.
Yep.
So it's earlier than we can even remember, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Um I don't know, I just googled people or 1982 history. It's so interesting to look at.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know about you. I remember seeing Tootsie in the theater when I was 4. It's weird that you don't remember it, but
Super super appropriate for a 4-year-old dude.
in the theater. You're going to
Right.
love this, Steven. Let's go.
Right. Um, also, let's see here. There was a space mission. You know what? I should have curated this list better. I looked at this and I thought I would do it, but we're kind of running short on time.
Were there
1982 rock. Just
awards?
look
Did
it
it
up.
win awards? I'm looking.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Okay, so it did win. This was nominated for, I believe, 10 Academy Awards. It
Yeah.
did win only one, which was Best Supporting Actress Jessica Lange. It was
Okay.
nominated for Best Picture, Best
Mm-hmm.
Actor Dustin Hoffman,
Yeah.
Supporting Actor Terry Garr, who I cannot wait to talk about her
Yep.
because she is your sister.
Really? Is this the other person that you think my sister is like? Terry Garr?
Yes. Okay. So, actually, we'll just mention that here right at the top. Well, actually,
Yeah.
we're not at the top. We're 15 minutes in. But yes.
Uh-huh.
So Julie was wondering about that a while ago. The Terry Garr, she was in Mr. Mom,
Okay.
and that was one of our favorite movies. There was this time where I might have mentioned it years ago where Aaron and I got like Pizza Hut, and you could
Uh-huh.
get 2 free DVDs with your pizza.
What? Like
Yeah,
you
they ran
own them? They put
Yeah.
they put DVDs for you to own in the pizza box?
Yeah, it was like a Pizza Hut promotion. So you
Huh.
would you could pick from this list of movies and they'd include a DVD. And it was either one or two, but one of them
Okay.
was we chose was Mr. Mom, Michael Keaton,
Wow.
Terry Garr. And so we have the
Interesting.
Pizza Hut DVD of that. And every time we watch that, the entire time, I'm like, Julie, Mommy Jules.
I've never put that one together. Maybe because she is in, I mean, a movie at the top of my list that Davis themed the music around, right? And I don't think matches who Julie is. I haven't seen Mr. Mom forever. So I'll have to rewatch.
Okay, Mr. Mom rules, and it stars your sister.
Okay, that's great.
But do you see it in this at all?
I wouldn't have guessed. I mean, her performance is incredible in this. I think it's her first performance. We can talk. Well, let's just talk about Terry Garr now, right?
Okay.
It's her first performance. She is so funny, I think, in this movie, and so eccentric, and just perfect as kind of like the friend.
Yeah, totally.
My question was, did you see that Dustin Hoffman is double billed in the credits?
I did not. No.
It's Michael Dorsey, Dustin Hoffman, Dorothy Michaels, Dustin Hoffman double billed when the credits start going up. And so I was gonna make a joke that was he also nominated for Best Actress because he's technically billed in the movie.
That's so interesting.
As Dorothy Michaels.
Was anybody like, okay, they got to the end and they're like watching the credits and they're like, what?
Oh, you mean they didn't get it the whole time? That was like Dustin Hoffman. Maybe I can see that happening with Michael J. Fox's incredible performance as his daughter in Back to the Future 2. Like that horrific looking person was Michael J. Fox. Mom, is that you?
There we go. More stuff for the patrons.
Yep.
You can actually see Steven's dumb impression.
Maybe I should have walked down the stairs slowly and tossed my hair. Can I do the VHS synopsis?
Yes, let's do it.
Because let's do that, and then we have to listen to the trailer, which is insane.
Okay,
it's
awesome.
I think the weirdest trailer we've ever listened to. Maybe it's just 1982, but here's the VHS synopsis. 4 stars, real big on the top. Roger Ebert.
Wow.
And this is what it says. Michael Dorsey is a talented actor, but his demanding nature and stubborn temperament have antagonized every producer in New York. Now his agent insists no one will hire him, but Michael needs money, $8,000 to be exact. I don't know why they have to give the exact amount on the
A matter
synopsis.
of $80.
They're using a lot of copy space to let us know how a matter of $80. And to earn it, he's willing to play the role of a lifetime. Dustin Hoffman stars with, now here's a list, Jessica Lange, Terry Garr, Dabney Coleman, Charles During, Bill Murray, and Gina Davis in director Sidney Pollack's heart-filled classic that heralded a new era of Hollywood wig flipping and set a new standard for unpredictable, laugh-out-loud comedy. So this time we are solidly in the comedy section of Blockbuster, right?
Right.
This ain't no
Totally.
Martian. This is Tootsie.
Right.
Good news, everybody. It's in color. PG. What do you think of that rating? What do you think of PG for this movie?
Yeah. See, yeah. There some of the stuff I probably wouldn't like. This was more adult than other than the language than The Martian. Like Lily White.
Right.
Actually, I'm kind of surprised by that.
Yeah.
I was like, I probably wouldn't watch this one with the girls. I
Right,
mean, actually,
yeah.
honestly, it's a lot of it. They'd just be like, "What? Like this isn't Star Wars or entertaining." I
Well, yeah,
don't know.
we'll
Actually,
get to that when
Okay.
we get to the trial. How
Yeah.
different this movie is as a perfect movie than other ones we've done, right?
Right.
But I think it's solidly in the 80s PG.
Yeah, there's some definite language. Yeah, 80s PG. Yeah,
Yep, 80s PG. So they should write that on the back of these VHS boxes.
Good
80s
call.
PG.
Little asterisk. It's like PG asterisk. Look down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Pre Temple of Doom.
Yeah. All right. I am so excited to put this
Great.
movie on trial. We're going to do something a little bit different. Before we do that, let's listen to the trailer. We're actually going to watch the trailer together with the people that are our patrons right now watching this. But let's listen to the insane 1982 trailer, original trailer for Tootsie.
All right.
Do you want to mark that down?
Yep.
That this
21,
should we
40.
stop recording the
That's
audio?
fine. Let's record the audio for now.
Okay.
And then we can start a new one after the trailer.
Okay, great. Let me pull it up and share my screen.
Great. How you all
See if-
patrons? Y'all enjoying seeing behind the scenes? Should I pick up my guitar while Steven does that?
Okay, I'm sharing screen.
Okay.
I'm sharing screen now, and what I need to make sure I do is share the audio. There we go. Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, ready? Let's watch this thing. Here, can I put a full screen? Come on,
Try
full
it.
screen
That
me.
would rule.
There we go.
Yes.
Here we go.
Let me tell you about my client, Michael Dorsey. He was a fine actor, maybe a great actor. But for every role he wanted, there was a reason why he wasn't right. Sorry, you're too tall.
I can be shorter.
No, can't use you. Too short.
Oh, I can be taller.
Too moody. Next.
Too old.
Too stubborn.
You're too much trouble.
Too tough. Too temperamental.
Too pushy.
Too difficult.
Michael?
No one will hire you. Just watch me.
Boy, did he show us. He auditioned for the female lead on a soap opera and became the hottest new actress in America. And you
like
know what?
just narrated,
No
it's
one
just
knows his
explaining.
new identity, not even the girl he's madly in love with.
It's a VHS
Soon
copy.
everyone will know that she's Dustin Hoffman and he's Tootsie.
Wait, what? They were played by the same person?
Spoiler.
What?
There you go.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that billing. Dustin Hoffman.
rules.
So
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
surprised
I
it
see
doesn't
that.
say Dustin Hoffman, and Dustin Hoffman.
It does. Did you see that? It says Dustin Hoffman across the top, and then in the.
Oh yeah, and then yep, you're right.
Here's something else that's insane about that dude.
Yeah.
Is that is so 70s sounding, right?
Yes.
Like you can still. It's not 80s yet.
Yeah.
Like,
Here. Let's say that. Let's actually start. Let's come back into the recording, or are we back
All
into
right.
the recording right now?
I'm still recording. Are you recording?
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know if we were actually gonna.
Yeah, here, let's stop this. 1, 2, 3, stop. We can just start. That's fine. But just save it. Save.
Save. You're right. Now we can save while we're recording on GarageBand, right?
I don't know that you can.
Okay. Let's start again at like 24. Can we start again at 24:20?
Yeah, hold on. Let me just hear this. Make sure it sounds good.
Okay.
I actually think what we just said was fine. Hold on.
I know. Let's come back and say it again. Is that okay? We didn't
Here.
get very far.
No. Dude, I'm sorry. Can I just whiz? I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go too. All right.
Are you still recording the video?
tape. It's all on tape. I wonder how many seconds that was. Okay. All right. Let's start again. I'm feeling good energy. Let's just keep
Great,
going.
Me too. Yep. Should we still say like I'll rise that thing?
Yep.
Okay, let's do it. Just start where you stopped and I'll splice it.
Okay.
So
Well, let's clap too, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm
of course,
starting
yep, for
right
sure.
exactly at 24:20, just so you know.
24:20.
Yep.
Yep. I'm at 24:20.6.
Okay. Great.
It'll be fine. All right, let's do it.
So let's clap to line it up.
Yeah, but let's still. Did you start?
Nope.
Okay, great. All right, 1, 2, 3, click. All right. 1, 2, 3.
All rise.
Hey, how's it going over there? Oh my gosh, this movie is hilarious. I didn't know Bill Murray was uncredited. He deserves all the credit. That thing was hilarious. I love it when you eat those French fries at the beginning. Taste the chef's food. Make sure you can serve it well, and talk to your audience, talk to your customers. Say the food's delicious.
So was this one of those movies where you're like, huh? Bill
What?
Murray?
Dude, this is. I should have looked up when Ghostbusters came out.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, but
80,
he looks
84, I think. 84, 85 was Ghostbusters.
Okay, so he looks like just slightly younger, but it's basically Bill Murray, Ghostbusters Bill Murray look, age-ish.
Totally.
Hey, dude, how old would you guess that Dustin Hoffman was when he made this movie?
We talked about that a lot, and I didn't look it up because
Okay, I looked it up.
He looks so much older as Tootsie, right?
Hmm.
The same thing happens in Mrs. Doubtfire. We probably will talk about these comparisons a lot, which is they're both not only dressing as women and makeup and things like that, but they're aged up because
Sure.
I think that works better than them trying to be a younger woman. And so I don't know how old Tootsie is not Tootsie. I don't know how old Dorothy Michaels is supposed to be.
Sure.
And then the conversation is, how old actually is Dustin Hoffman? Do you know?
Yeah, okay, so he was 45 years old when he filmed this movie.
Are you
I looked
kidding
it up.
me?
He was born in 1937, August 8th.
Wow.
And this was made in 82. So actually, it was made in 81, well, it was made in 82. So yeah, he was 45.
Okay. I would have guessed 30s.
See, I thought I was going to look that. See, I don't know. Well, okay. He did say I've been acting for 20 at this for 20 years.
Okay,
during
got
the
it.
20s.
Yep.
Or maybe he was doing child commercials. I don't know. But either way, he was 45 when he filmed this.
Okay, got it. So, sorry, are you still there? My internet connection went unstable as I was looking that up. Can you still hear me?
Oh, crud. You there, dude?
Yeah, I'm
Hello?
here. Are you there?
Yep, I'm good. Yep,
Okay,
still
good.
rolling.
Here's the other thing. He was 29 when he filmed The Graduate, where he's supposed to be playing like young 20s at the oldest. And so he
Right.
just looks young. And so it's also interesting that he ages up so much when he goes into Dorothy Michaels mode.
Right.
I was just wondering. So Ghostbusters was 84. I was just wondering if this is a movie where you're like, again, like you were saying, like I've heard of the movie, I kind of know the plot, but then every actor that comes on screen, even rewatching it, I was like, I forgot Gina Davis was in this.
I know. Totally.
Mostly in her underwear, right? But
Right.
she's in it.
Yep. Okay, so let's run through that real quick. Okay, so Gina Davis, Jessica Lange. I don't know a whole ton of her work. This early '80s, '70s is
Yeah.
like not my unless it's Mannequin, which for some reason I watched like a million times in the '80s,
That's hilarious.
or our classic canon of Spielberg type movies.
Right.
I don't know. When Dabney Coleman,
Yeah.
when he came out, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like, okay, in this movie there are like two generations of like kind of like sexist men.
Yes.
So there's the leader, or the what was he, the he was in charge of police academy. That would
Oh
be
yeah, George Gaines. Yeah.
Right, so
So who the person the thing I think about him is I always think of him as Punky Brewster's dad.
okay, see, I see him as whatever, I can't remember his title, but I see him, when I see him, I see Police Academy.
Yep.
Totally different character than this like
Yes.
neurotic,
Uh-huh.
super anxious, burnt out actor, but still so funny.
He's so good
Um,
in this. Yeah.
but also greasy, sleazeball, awful.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get to some of his lines later. But
Yeah.
Dabney Coleman, so that's like the generation below, also
Yep.
sexist director, kind of piggish. But when I see him,
Yeah.
I see Hot to Trot.
Oh, I see 9 to 5.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
So, and he plays the same sleazeball ball. I mean, and actually 9 to 5 and Tootsie are in kind of this like feminist movies of the 80s, right? Where
Okay.
where it's like we're finally talking about this in some of the movies, what it's like to be a woman in the 80s. And Dabney
Got it.
Coleman plays both sleazeballs in those movies.
Got it. So he's just
So that's the
characterized as
first
that.
thing Jessica said when she saw him come out
Yep.
on Tootsie. Is like, it's the same guy. They just hired him right off of 9 to 5.
Wait, who's in 9 to 5?
Dolly Parton, Lily Tomlin,
Okay.
and Daryl Hannah, maybe? Those are the
Okay.
three women. I can't remember the
All right.
third. I can't remember. There's a kind of a young, it's Daryl Hannah, I think, almost certainly. I can go back and look at that, but that's a bonkers movie where most of it is them dreaming about how they're going to take revenge on their boss. That is an insane movie, but pretty fun and very much like this movie. Uh-oh. I gotta stop going on the internet. I've lost him. Shoot. Warts and all for the patrons. I'm texting him to see what's
Can
up.
hear you.
Okay, you can hear me? Can I? Oh, he's gone. All right. I'm going to text him. Come back? I might have to stop the recording. We'll see. Waiting. Oh, here he comes.
You there, dude?
Yep, I'm here.
Yep. I could hear you for quite a while.
Okay.
I wonder if you should. Yep. Are you still
No,
rolling?
yeah, nobody's home at my house, so
That's all good.
okay. I would go and tell them to stop using the internet, but that's not happening.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still recording. Are you?
Yep, me too.
Okay.
We were talking about Dabney Coleman.
Yeah. Why don't you just move on to a new? I'll just move us on from there. Is that okay?
Okay, I wanted to say one more thing about Dabney
Okay.
Coleman real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so 9 to 5. I mean, yeah, that we've been talking about seeing more stories that aren't about us, even
Yeah.
just that.
Yep.
It also kind of puts me in the other one I've seen around this was Baby Boom.
Uh-huh.
I love that. There are a lot of movies actually in the 80s
Yeah.
that are very much about women in the workplace.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, okay, so 9 to 5, I'll check that out.
Mhm.
Dolly Parton, you've been telling me about that. Steel Magnolias, so put
Uh-huh.
that on the list.
Yeah.
It's just for me, dude. Dabney Coleman, Hot to Trot.
Yes.
Did you ever see that?
I've never seen Hot to Trot.
Okay, it's dude. This is like the difference between me and you.
What is Hot to Trot? Tell me about
It's
Hot to Trot. I've never seen it.
so stupid. It's Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yeah, sounds great. What?
And, like, it's about a talking horse. Like,
Oh my gosh. I bet if you had given me three choices, like three chances, I probably could have gotten there. Hot to Trot.
but anyways, Dabney Coleman's in that one.
One of his finest works,
Yep.
I'm sure.
So when he came in, I was like, "Hey, there's the guy
Yeah.
from Hot to Trot."
Yeah. So the casting is great. I mean,
Yep.
we can say that. But here's
Totally.
what we're going to do. Just in case this is your first, you saw Tootsie on Apple Podcasts. You're like, I got to listen to this.
Right.
Perfect Movie is a podcast where we pick a movie that we love.
Yep.
We usually how it works is we pick that movie. We act as its defense counsel and we present evidence. We each get two pieces of evidence to attempt to prove to you, the listener, to one another, and sort of maybe even to ourselves that this movie is not only good, it's not only great, but it's perfect.
Yep.
The way we do that is we chunk in with a certain sound that I'm going to find because I totally forgot to do that. And we present that piece of evidence. And then when we're done, the listener acts as judge, jury, and executioner, possibly executioner, to decide whether or not this movie is actually perfect. Okay.
I'll play it for you.
Okay, play the chunk. There we go. That's the sound. I finally got it. Okay, so here's when we do a choice episode, that's either I choose one or Anthony chooses one. It's a little different. The person that chooses it gets three pieces of evidence. We are going to do something completely different. Not completely different today, but one of the reasons I chose Tootsie is, like we were talking about at the beginning, I actually took a class. It wasn't my screenwriting class. I went back and I found my notes, dude.
Yep, dude, this
It wasn't my screenwriting class. It was my film history class.
Ah, okay.
And we studied Tootsie as kind of a late century movie that's perfectly crafted. And so I have my notes. Here they are.
Did Dave Grusin come in? Come.
No, I don't remember talking about the score.
That's what I'm here for.
I have my notes in front of me, and what I've done is I've chosen three things that my professor said.
Okay.
That make this movie perfect.
We're getting in the realm of academics here, man.
Right, academia.
This is legit. Okay.
Right.
Where else do you hear this?
Yeah, so I majored in creative writing, and one of the things I thought about doing was screenwriting. And so I took 3 classes, I think, and one of those classes was film history. So these are not my own evidences.
Okay.
So I thought it'd be fun for both of us to talk about, do these work?
Love it.
Do we agree? So this is like a third party giving evidences for this movie. I just thought it'd be fun. And so then once I present these, if we come back on our next movie episode, reveal the results, and also on our Patreon, the bonus disc, twogomers.com/ no, patreon.com/ the
Patreon,
two
yeah.
/ two gomers. Someday I'll get
Say
it right.
one more time, dude.
Um,
Patreon.
patreon.com/ two gomers. You'll be able to hear the fuller results show. If it gets perfect movie, we put it on a flash drive, send it up on V'ger to the xenomorphs. They watch it and they become good girls and boys. Okay.
Yep.
So the movie, you've heard about what the movie is about. It is very Mrs. Doubtfire, but it's a decade before.
Right. So basically, it's an out of work actor.
Yep.
He needs work,
Yep.
and also he wants to produce his roommate's play,
Mm-hmm.
make it a huge hit,
Yep.
and craziness ensues.
He goes with his friend Terry Garr to an audition. She doesn't get the part for the soap opera, but
Julie, Mommy Jules.
he decides I can get it. And so he tries out as a woman, Dorothy Michaels, gets the part, and like you said, hilarity ensues.
Yep.
And all sorts of actual comedy happens. Okay, so why don't I just give the 3 exhibits and we could talk through what we think
Great.
about them. Okay,
Great. Let's
so
do it.
the first, as usual, worked great. First piece of evidence in my notes from my film history class is the dialogue. And specifically, what we learned about was naturalistic dialogue.
Okay, yeah.
Versus kind of a more memorized. It's almost like the way they're saying the dialogue almost feels Curb Your Enthusiasm, where there's no dialogue written at all, right?
Right, like they're just filming themselves talking to each other.
Yeah, and there seems to be purposeful moments where they mess up and they keep it in. And so, when you and I are talking, especially for the people that are watching this on video, because we're not going to edit it, we stumble, we say one thing and when we meant another, and we come back to it and correct.
Yep.
There are several moments in Tootsie where that happens and they keep it in.
Yeah.
They misread or misspeak, and you get all of that. And so the naturalism of the dialogue is one of the evidences and exhibits. My professor didn't know he was doing this at the time, but that he presented as this movie is perfect. And we've said this before, dude, because of its imperfections.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you're brought into the movie because it sounds like how people talk.
Yeah, it's not Shakespearean,
right?
Or something like that, where you were like, that sounded amazing, beautiful writing, but nobody would ever say that.
Yeah,
like they talk like one of the scenes in my head is when he's like trying to coach Terry Garr.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, go with it. No, keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't let up. Like it really sounds like a master class or something like that, like totally real.
And there's layers to that because he is an acting coach, right? That's what he does in the movie. He's an acting coach.
That's his bread and butter, that and waiting tables.
And so he's this one scene that you're talking about where he's actually coaching Terry Garr. It's coaching the viewer on how to act in a movie because it's so natural the way it's happening. Now, a lot of that can be attributed, I think, to the casting. Dustin Hoffman is just like that.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a mumbler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's kind of he's got this deep voice where he's mumbling and it's a little bit like Jeff Goldblum-ish where he's talking like this and it just works.
Yeah. How do you write that? What does that look like on a script?
I don't know. We looked at the script and I don't remember it looking like stuttering the way he's doing it.
It's like his affectations. That's just like what he brings.
Yeah.
Like even like the part at the end when he's like they're live, and he's like, they're like, oh no, not when you're live. Oh no. And he's like, it's like he's writing, he's thinking, but he keeps talking and talking. And then he comes out with it, you know.
I wonder. Yeah. So here's the thing about when we read the script in my class.
Mhm.
We read the final draft. And sometimes I wonder if those scripts that are readily made available to classes like that, and then you can get on the internet, are actually transcriptions of the movie rather than the
Sure.
script that they had in their hands. Because
Yeah.
the whole
Okay. Yeah.
movie to me feels live. The whole movie feels like that scene
Right.
where you're just watching it happen, and the writing is so good and the directing is so good that you're just so pulled into it, and it could be carefully written like that. Every
Right.
stutter, every repetition thing, it could be. And so the screenplay that I actually read, I can't tell if it was a screenplay they were acting off of.
Sure. Okay. And like every scene between Dustin Hoffman and Bill Murray sounds improvised completely.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
same with him and Sidney Pollack. And like they do a lot of writing on this together, a lot of improvising on this or whatever.
Yeah. And so the director, Sidney Pollack, Dustin Hoffman said, "You need to be my agent in the movie." Because this is working so well. I know.
He's like, get me some jobs. Get me some jobs. He's like, I can't. It is known not only here but in LA. Like nobody
They won't hire you in Hollywood either. Nobody will hire you. Which that scene is such a clear. This is what the movie's going to be about. Moment, because by the way, right after he says that, and then I think Dustin Hoffman says something like, "Watch me." Hard cut to him walking down the street as Dorothy Michaels. No, I mean, you get it later where he's styling his wig and putting his makeup on. Hard cut to that music. And so even the choices they make in the editing are like, man, this movie is trucking.
Yep. Cut. Heart. Yeah, just like nobody will hire you. Crowd shot just like straight from the trailer. Oh, we cut that part out about the trailer. But yeah, like that 70s, straight to that.
Because the movie was probably filmed in 1980, right?
Sure.
To come out in 82 or maybe 81. It feels like a 70s movie to me.
It does. That trailer sounded 70s.
Yep.
And yeah, even like Dustin Hoffman's name being on it twice. Like across the top and in the billing. Like
yeah. So that was the first evidence was if you study the dialogue in Tootsie, there's no way to do better in the way the characters talk to one another, play off one another. You know, there's very specific combinations of characters throughout the movie, and all of them work because of the dialogue that's happening between them. And it's especially tricky because you have dialogue from Michael Dorsey between different characters, and then you have dialogue between Dorothy Michaels where that dynamic is completely changed.
Right.
And so you have to write for two different characters that are the same actor.
Yeah. And sometimes like when he's actually using his regular voice, like this happens in Mrs. Doubtfire. There's a bunch of like very similar things, like the scene, the shower scene when he comes home and like he's dressed up as Dorothy, but he's speaking as Michael, you know, like that exact same thing happened much earlier in the movie when somebody comes to the house and they can't know who you are. So
so like you see Robin Williams as Mrs. Doubtfire, dressed as Mrs. Doubtfire, but speaking in Robin Williams's voice.
Right.
And so there's so much to play with through the movie, and they do it so well in Tootsie in particular, where when he's babysitting Jessica Lange's daughter.
Yeah, right.
And he's trying to figure out, will this baby respond to Dorothy or to Michael?
Right. And he says Uncle Uncle Dorothy or
Uncle
something like
Dorothy, right? And it's just it's fun to watch. It's well written and it's so well acted that
Yeah.
everything seems. I mean, for some reason, I always think of Siskel and Ebert loving slice of life movies. They just would always talk about that, and this feels like kind of high concept, but they bring it down to earth with the dialogue.
Yep. Right on.
So that's Exhibit 1. Okay, get ready for this one. Exhibit B. Oh no, my phone. Exhibit B. Is the joke writing in
Okay.
this, that it's actually a comedy with jokes. And so I kind of complained about The Martian. It's not The Martian's fault. It's their producers saying it's a comedy when there's not
Right.
actually any jokes, and the only jokes in it fall flat. But there are carefully written jokes in this movie. So it's like, why would you? I think Sidney Pollack is saying at some time, like, why would you want to see a movie about people living near a chemical plant? You can just go to New Jersey for that. That's a joke, right?
Sheen.
Yeah.
Totally.
And so you can tell, okay, there are some jokes in this. But what I want to talk about in particular is that scene that you just mentioned, the live scene, kind of
Okay.
the whole movie is ramping up to this scene, right? Like,
Yep.
Dustin Hoffman is conflicted because he's making a lot of money as Dorothy Michaels on the soap opera, but he's in love with Jessica Lange,
Right.
and Jessica Lange's father is in love with him.
Yeah. So this movie has some of the most strange love triangles.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So he wants to get out of it,
Right.
but he has signed a contract where he can't get out of it unless he's fired.
Right.
And so everything is, all of those weird relational things are building up to this scene, including the fact that George Gaines has tried to hit on Dorothy Michaels, but then thinks he's dating Bill Murray, Jeff.
Right.
So everybody is involved in the scene.
Yes.
Because what has happened is they need to re-record a part of the soap opera, and they need to do it live.
Uh-huh.
And we get shots of everybody that's been involved, either in the scene itself or watching it on TV.
Yep.
And so you get this scene where they're filming it live. It's going live onto the air, and Dustin Hoffman, Michael Dorsey, dressed up as Dorothy Michaels, decides, I'm going to reveal what's been happening live on TV, and they'll fire me.
Right.
And so it's a very funny scene where he's making up a soap opera story on the fly
Yep.
to finally be able to take off his wig and reveal himself. So
Yep.
he does that, and it's an incredible performance. And again, I don't know if it's written like this, but at one point he's like, and just he says that for like 20 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so he takes off his wig and he reveals himself to be a man. Terry Garr screams, and it's hilarious.
Yep.
People faint on set, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Bill Murray is watching from home,
Yep.
and he says
Uh-huh.
what you think is the funniest line,
Yeah.
which is that is one crazy hospital.
Hold on, dude. This was our favorite part of the movie. Hold on. I recorded this part, okay?
Okay, great.
Strong enough to be the woman that was the best part of my manhood. The best part of myself.
So this is Dustin Hoffman about to take his wig off.
One nutty hospital. Commercial.
Okay, stop. You think that's the end of that scene, and that's the funniest line. And then there's a beat, and George Gaines, who was hitting on Dorothy
Yeah.
and was interrupted by Bill Murray. Whispers, "Does Jeff know?" And that's the end of the scene. And I think it's the best joke in the movie. And they have held off until after the climax to tell it.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing, the best analog I can think of is the last scene of Moonstruck, where they're in the kitchen and there's insanity and you think that scene is over.
Yep.
And the old man is crying.
Uh-huh.
And they say, "What's wrong?" And he says, "I'm confused." And it's the best line of the movie. And they keep it till after you think the funniest part has happened. And I think that we looked at this scene when I watched it again last night. I think maybe Tootsie is not the most perfect movie ever made, but I think that's one of the most perfect scenes ever filmed in movie history.
Okay. I 100% agree with that. Now, we were laughing so hard, I feel like we missed that because Bill Murray, so I'll have to go back and watch it now that I've heard you explain how, because that was super funny. I just remember, dude, Aaron and I were just there and like, because the build up to that scene is incredible.
Yeah.
100%. And
that
is one nutty hospital. It's just like, dude, I exploded, dude, with laughter right
so
there.
That's what I love, that's the line that hit, and it should.
Yep.
Because Bill Murray delivers it incredibly, and it's so funny. But the fact that then the pressure's released from this scene and you get a better line even after that about Bill Murray's character delivered from somebody else, almost as an aside, that's even funnier. And so that scene is obviously created with such care in the writing and the acting. And you're just in awe afterwards. Like they did it.
Yep. It's like a button. Like I just wrote this down. It reminded me of like, I'll have what he's having. Or what she's having. You know what I mean?
That's an incredible example. It's exactly the same. You think that the performance of Meg Ryan, which is incredible, is the joke.
Right.
And it is. But the real joke is what is that his
Rob
mom?
Reiner.
Rob Reiner's mom
line,
says.
I'll have what she's having.
So I don't know the term for that kind of thing. It's a button. I guess you're right that there's a button to the joke.
It's the golf ball at the end of the marine biologist episode from Seinfeld when he's like the titleist and he's like, you know, like
and so in that episode, in Tootsie, and those are callbacks, which is another level of the button is something that you wouldn't understand unless you'd seen the movie. And so it's not just it's not just a joke that would fit in any movie.
Yes.
You have to be totally engaged in what's happened and in the characters and even in the set pieces and props.
Yep.
That it's a culmination of the episode of TV or a culmination of the movie where you just feel almost honored to have been gifted that joke.
It's like also in that same one when they show her dad, like he tears the makeup off, he wipes off his makeup, and then the dad's eating a sandwich.
Yeah.
Right, and the sandwich drops, and then
the sandwich
eats
falls.
his fingers.
He's chewing on his fingers. He's so devastated by this, which is hard to laugh at because you're imagining what's going on in him. But it is it's just everything's on the page in the screenplay, right?
Yeah.
But the way it comes together, and I don't know what they thought when they were watching the dailies. Like, did this whole thing work? We just have to trust that it did. And you edit it together and hope it does, and then it does.
You know, there was that that interview with Bill Murray. I think we both heard it. Talking about this. I think it was Bill Murray, where he was like, they don't even know how good what they have is.
Yeah.
Because he said that Sidney Pollack and Dustin Hoffman were like arguing all the time, just
Yeah.
like in the movie. And he was like, he was only there for the days he had to shoot, and he was like, they don't even get it. Like they don't even know the movie.
Dustin Hoffman sounds exactly like Michael Dorsey. So hard to work with, just like an
Totally.
actor of actors, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it must be hard to tell if you're having a hard time on set.
Yeah. Right.
It's Mad Max Fury Road. Like
Yeah.
it's 2 years of filming this brutal thing, and you just kind of
Yeah.
hope it works out, and it's magic when it does.
Did we capture something good, or was that
Yeah.
utter crap?
Yeah.
I had two thoughts real quick on Bill
Okay.
Murray. That's who Kristen Wiig should be doing, is parts like this. Like we were talking about her on the Martian episode.
Yeah.
I thought about her a lot, just about how weird and funny Bill Murray was, and I was like,
Yeah.
how her performance in The Martian, we love her. Just
Yep.
it kind of fell flat. I was just thinking about her. I was like, she needs more roles like this. Although this is a small role.
No, but she is this in Bridesmaids, I would argue.
Okay.
She's properly used as the straight man in Bridesmaids, where everybody else is insane but her.
Yeah. Okay.
And so Bill Murray he's that in Ghostbusters, right? He is the person who's always like, ghosts?
Yeah. Like he's the one that would look at the camera, like Jim from The Office or something like that.
Yeah.
He would, like break the fourth wall and be like,
That's pretty good.
"Ghosts?" Like,
yep. Like ectoplasm. And so then he's the audience surrogate, and I feel like he's this in this movie too, and he's so good at it. Okay, let me get to my last exhibit, or my professor's last exhibit, because I think this one feels a little bit complex.
Okay.
So I want to be able to talk about it. The third thing that we talked a lot about in my class, this was in 1998. And I think the conversation changed from 1982 to 1998, and probably has changed again.
Most definitely.
What the professor was saying is that it's a message movie. There's a message to this movie.
Sure.
But it is not bogged down with the message.
Okay.
And that is a really hard thing to do. The message, our professor was positing, and I think it's probably pretty accurate, which is the message of the movie is, it is extremely difficult to be a woman in a man's world. And so you need a different perspective of that. And so Dustin Hoffman, who's a man, has to experience that himself so that the audience can better understand the difficulties that a woman faces in the 80s world.
Sure. Yep.
But the movie is so good that you don't feel preached at.
Yep.
And so it's a very carefully written and perfectly constructed movie. I think I agree with that. I think what gets complicated is, has the movie aged well?
Right.
I want to suggest that I think the message of the movie has aged better than in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay, I thought you were going to say then the music has.
No, I think, and here's why. I think there's the gender stuff, and even like the cross-dressing stuff is played off more as a joke in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right.
Where it's taken more seriously in Tootsie. And so I think because that particular part of the movie in Mrs. Doubtfire is played off as oh, can you believe it?
Right. He's a she and she's a he and he's a she.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
In Tootsie, it's played with a little bit more gravity. Now, I think there's places you can go to hear somebody talk a little bit better about some of this stuff. Both of us listened to an episode of Unspooled before we recorded. We didn't even know we were listening to it. We both managed to find this episode
It's funny.
where they have a guest who's kind of in the drag queen world, and so talks about like, is what's happening here drag? What is
Right.
Michael Dorsey doing when he dresses as a woman, and what is that? And they have a great conversation. That conversation is better than any conversation we'd be able to have, and so you should go check out the Tootsie episode of Unspooled for that. I'm wondering more about a woman in the workplace and whether that has aged well, or does it come off as like, well, I'm going to save everybody because I'm the man kind of thing.
Right. There's more of like an undercover element to this movie
Right.
than Mrs. Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubtfire, he just wanted to see his kids.
Yep.
And he's like, this is the only way I'm going to be able to do that. Now,
Yeah.
that same kind of thing happens here where he's like, I just want to work. I just want to
Yeah.
have a starring role, and I want to raise money for my producer friend to make this show or this play.
Yeah.
And it's only going to be 8 weeks, and I get this part. But what it ends up being is he is actually an undercover, right?
Yeah.
Like he's living in another world as another person, and then kind of like in the end, kind of like seeks some justice.
Yeah.
Or like, do you even believe like what it's like to have like all these people like hitting on you and checking you out, and like that part literally when he calls her Tootsie.
Yes.
And he's like, I can't do the accent, but he's like, I have a name. Right? Like,
I have a
name. You call
It's not
JoJo by
Tootsie.
his
It's
name.
not honey. Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, can you believe it? We're going to rewrite this, but you're just going to get the guys to do it. Tootsie, you can get out of here now. You know, like now
Yeah.
we're going to have our meeting, you know?
So I think this movie would have been made differently in 98 when I first had the conversation about it in my class. It would have been made differently now in 2019, 2020.
Right.
Especially post Me Too, right?
Yeah.
Or mid Me Too, right? Me Too's always been going on, but you know what I mean? Like the Me Too hashtag movement.
Right.
Most of what I read about it is that for a movie made in 1982 and coming out in 1982, a scene like you're remembering, right? This kind of Dustin Hoffman saying, "Don't treat women like that."
Yeah.
Is actually very well done.
Okay.
And again, because the movie itself, it helps that it is in a movie that is so well written, so well done, and so seen, right? The top two, Empire Strikes Back, which I think has 2 women in it. Leia and what's her face in the white? I can't remember. Mothma. What's her name? Mothma. Yeah. And then, but I think the criticism leveled against it is it feels a little bit like a kind of like a white savior movie, right? Like Dances with Wolves. Nobody will listen to Native people until Kevin Costner shows up.
Right. Yeah. That was what Aaron's issue was with it afterwards.
Yeah.
Was she was like, it's you know, and it's dated. It was like, it's too bad. And we said this on the Space Camp episode, that a man had to come in and discover what it was like. It's like, it's too bad we couldn't just hear from women saying that and then listen and trust them and hear their perspective.
And so then where I go is, and what I've been reading is that it was like that and still is in many ways. And so the movie is actually just descriptive.
Okay.
It's not saying a man should always go. It's not prescriptive.
Okay.
This is how to solve the problem. A man should dress up as a woman and experience it himself. And that's how we're going to defeat sexism. It's descriptive. Isn't it awful that the only way for the women on the set of this soap opera to be heard is a man has to go through all of this stuff and say the same things they've been saying for decades. And then it's listened to. And so I think it's been helpful for me to read those perspectives, which is like, we don't like that. That's gross. It sucks.
Mhm.
but we're glad the movie exists,
Yeah.
and we're glad it was
Well,
so seen.
yeah. I wrote down one quote actually that I found very uh very Me Too
Mm-hmm.
now, which
Yeah.
was he goes there. It was shoot now I can't remember the name. Um, George
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 Gaines,
George Gaines goes over. Right,
Police
he sings
Academy
the song.
Sergeant, Punky Brewster's dad. Yeah.
Right. He goes there,
Yeah.
and basically wants to take advantage of her.
Yep.
And then Bill Murray comes in, and here he
Mm-hmm.
says, "Nothing happened here tonight."
Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
and it's like I'm gonna use our white man to white man. We're gonna be like, nothing happened here tonight. We're just gonna leave it like that, and
Yeah.
she can't speak up.
Yep.
And then she said he said Dustin Hoffman said, "My lips are
Mm-hmm.
sealed."
Yeah.
Right, and
To
that is
to the potential rapist. I mean,
right,
they even use the word, right?
right, yep,
That he says to him, "My lips are sealed. I won't tell anybody about this."
right.
And
That
and
right
it's
there, yeah, that's exactly what Me Too is all about. Right
yeah.
there. Nope, we're
Yep.
gonna talk about it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what has happened. Like I pictured, I'm not gonna name names, but I pictured a newscaster,
Yeah.
and he's like, "This never happened," and then they're
Yeah.
like, "Yep, this never. That doesn't. That hopefully that's not happening anymore."
Well, I think that's what I'm saying about descriptive.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, right,
it's too bad that it takes a movie like Tootsie for millions and millions of people to see that on screen.
hmm,
Um, but it's good that they're able to. And so I think that the other thing that I really like is, he's set up as a scuzzball, kind of like a womanizer. There's that party scene at the beginning,
yeah,
where he's just like talking to any woman he can and scoping them out and saying the same
right,
things sometimes to multiple women to just
right,
make sure one of them stays with him and goes to bed with him. Right. Then he
right,
sleeps with Terry Garr. And then he does this awful thing where he's like, I never told her that we weren't going to see other people. I never told her that we like, and then
uh-huh.
Dabney Coleman, the biggest scuzzball in the movie,
Right,
says that to him about
mm,
Jessica Lange. I never told her we weren't going to sleep with other people.
yep,
And so there are these moments, and I think they're well crafted, where the main character, Michael Dorsey, grows because he's put in a different situation and because he needs to experience it as a different person.
mm,
Um, and he's changed. And
yeah,
most of what I was reading, and I remember from my class, even women speaking up in the class, feeling like, I wish it didn't have to be this way,
mm,
but it is. And we're glad to see it on screen.
yeah, hmm.
Um, so, I mean, yeah, it's this message movie under the cover of a blockbuster, which, like you're saying, it's not one that your girls would necessarily enjoy because it's mostly people talking to one another.
Right. I mean, they might found some parts funny, but like this is one nutty hospital, or your favorite line, does Jeff know? Like that would be, I don't know. Actually, Lily might get that. She would. I
Oh,
don't
I'm
know.
sure.
Um,
Yep.
but it's the idea though that he grows, he learns, and he's
Mm-hmm.
changed at the end,
Yep.
and that's what happens when you see things from a different perspective.
Yes.
Um, there was this great, and I should have shared it on Instagram. This message, I think it was there was a pastor, a black pastor, and
Mm-hmm.
was talking about perspective, and that the different ways that you see things. You're looking at a page and
Mm-hmm.
you see it as this color, but the other side of the page is this color, and you're like, no, it's that color, and you're like, no, but you're
Right.
not seeing it from my point of view.
Yeah.
This honestly, a similar thing has happened to me, becoming a
Mm-hmm.
dad of daughters,
Oh,
um,
okay.
seeing the world as a as a father of future women,
Uh-huh.
as opposed to just regular old Gomer dude, like
Yeah.
I don't know, you know what I mean? Like I'm like I'm like every woman you see in the world has a dad.
Yeah.
You know what? That was the dumbest statement
No.
possible.
I
But like
think
I see women more as daughters, as sisters, as you know what I mean? I see them
yeah.
as my kids, I have high school students and college students, and I see them as future my daughters, if
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
It,
There's so
it
much
does.
more
I
love
think
and
I think parenting is sort of like entering into a world that is not your own and
yeah,
gaining a new perspective because you care about different things and you care about a person that's not you.
right.
Now, I don't have daughters, and so it's an interesting thing to hear that, right? But it happened to me when I got married. I mean,
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how my language changed
Hmm.
and how my attitude changed about women once I got one as a roommate. Honestly,
Right.
and just listening to Jessica and spending a lot of time with her and watching movies with her
Right.
that I used to love, and she's like, "You can go ahead and stop loving that movie now." Like, okay, let's talk
Oh,
about that.
man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was some movie we were watching, and Aaron was like, "That is so sexist." I can't remember what it was, and it was like a canon movie,
Yeah,
like a
I know.
kid, and I was like, "No, no, 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 they didn't mean it like that, dude."
Yeah,
Like just seeing it from a
jumping
different perspective.
to this movie's defense. I mean, that's what this podcast is. But we need to place ourselves in spaces where our perspectives are changed. And I think Tootsie is a really interesting movie. It's
Yeah,
uh, it it feels a bit complex and complicated, and so I think as we consider whether it's perfect, we're allowed to take those things into account, right? But it is a very interesting movie to think about somebody putting themselves in a completely different context and just being amazed by what they didn't notice before. And you even sent me that video of Dustin Hoffman himself,
right. Yep.
just like um you can tell he's a 60-year-old guy, and some of the language he's using is pretty 60-year-old guy, right? But
Right, right.
the process he went through to make this movie, opening his eyes to how horrible the world is for women in Hollywood, which is
Right.
his
Well,
profession.
yeah, he even said, I saw myself in this makeup and I was like, I wouldn't talk to that person because
Mm.
basically he said because they're not hot enough.
He said, because
Right.
I've been brainwashed
Mm,
about
yep.
the women that are worth talking to.
Yeah.
And he can hardly get it out because he's broken up about it.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that backstory also, that it's not only Michael Dorsey that was changed because he was putting himself into a different experience, but it's
Right.
Dustin Hoffman. That's pretty cool. Now I hear
Mhm.
he's kind of a jerk and hard to work with, and um, but it's nice to hear that even a person like that can gain a different perspective. And it made me, another reason why I really like this movie is because it makes me want to put myself into situations and listening and learning from people that are not like me. And I think if you
Yep.
can come out of that, it's a huge blockbuster, made a ton of money, so fun to watch. We had a complete blast watching it with the family last night.
Yeah.
And also,
What did any thoughts from the boys? Like,
they loved it. I mean, so Noah's an actor, right? And so
yeah.
he loves the process, right?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that last scene, the live scene, is kind of an undercurrent of laughter happening the whole time. And then it's just like it just lands, and if a movie hits at my house because there's applause at the credits. So
Yeah.
we're an applause family. Yeah. And so at the theater, when we go to the
Yep.
theater again someday, when we like a
Yep.
movie, when the credits start rolling, we clap.
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
we do that at home too. And so there was applause when the credits started rolling. Big hit.
That rocks.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it again after having gone through this with you.
Mm-hmm.
Super fun. I love that we're getting more and more interested as to looking at the world from a different
Yeah.
perspective.
Yep.
And thanks for expanding my mind saying I should check out Tootsie, and I loved it, and makes me want to just watch more and more movies that I've never seen.
Yeah. I can't wait. This is going to be fun. So now it's up to you, listener. Do you think Tootsie is a perfect movie? We're going to put some polls on Facebook and Instagram in particular. You can find us at Two Gomers in both of those places. You can also go to our website, perfectmoviepodcast.com. You can send us an email, perfectmoviepodcast.com, and just let us know, do you think Tootsie is a perfect movie? Now, we are going to reveal the results on our next movie episode in a couple weeks, but the full results show, where we dig a little bit deeper, where we talk about people's comments about it, that is now on the bonus disc, which is our Patreon, patreon.com/2gomers. If you want a fuller result show, you can subscribe to there at any level. You're going to get those full result shows. But listen, you're not missing the results themselves. On our next movie app, we're going to reveal whether or not Tootsie is a perfect movie. And whether I'll try to call my professor and say, you did it, if the answer comes back yes.
It's like the greatest influence your professor ever has was on the xenomorphs. Like, who knew?
Little did he know he was converting them to good little girls and boys.
On the results show too, I want to talk about the little it was a film festival, Dustin Hoffman Film Festival. So that's something that's been fun too, is to dive into some of these actors and watch a bunch of movies with the same actor. It's kind of fun. Hook, bro. Hook.
I mean, I was just going to say, we're obviously going to talk about Dustin Hoffman again because we have Hook at some point.
Okay. Great. I can't wait.
Okay. I love his performance in Hook. I think it is so different than anything he had ever done, maybe has ever done before. And I think he knocks it out of the park. That is not why, even though he's in the section of the movie that I think is bad.
Everything that he's in, you want to cut, but his performance is amazing. And his mustache is amazing. His mustache.
Oh
yeah. There's a great part in this where his mustache kind of like flops off.
Yeah.
Like in the close up. Genius. How did they do that?
I don't know. Oh, wait, I forgot. You sent me a text with a food moment.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. All it was.
Yeah.
It was live. It was during the live scene, I think. Or,
yeah.
No. It was just during a tape scene. They show one of the editors,
Mm-hmm.
and he's drinking a yoo-hoo. And I was like, wait.
He stretches way out like behind him to grab this yoo-hoo on a shelf and takes a big swig of it. I was like,
yep.
Anthony's gonna love this.
I love that. And Jessica Lange, a couple great shots of her holding a glass of wine. Like he asks her, like about Dabney Coleman's character, and before she could answer, grabs that glass of wine. There's great wine in this movie.
Right. By the way, she invites Dorothy Michaels over to her house to do line readings, and they eat lobster tail.
I know. I saw that. It looked like a lobster bake. Good call, dude. Like lobster bake. There was corn on the cob. Totally, dude.
A real casual dinner for a line reading.
Right. What do you make of, we didn't talk about that, but what do you make of she actually kind of falls in love with him as her?
Is there a part in Mrs. Doubtfire where Sally Field says, I miss Mrs. Doubtfire? Or did I make that up?
Yeah, maybe I missed that she's around.
Yeah,
but she
that's
also
right.
says to Mrs. Doubtfire, he brings her comfort or something like that. I need to watch that again after watching this, because there are so many little references.
Oh, it's so much is lifted right out. The reason I ask is because there is the closing scene is Jessica Lange saying to Dustin Hoffman, I miss Dorothy. Mm-hmm. And then him saying, she's right here. Right. Like, I love that scene too, where he's talking to Bill Murray and says, I think Dorothy is smarter than me. This is this awesome scene where he's like, maybe I'm best when I'm not a jerky guy. And so I need to get in touch with some different parts of who I am. And so I don't know what to make with about the fact that Jessica Lange is. I don't think she's falling in love with Dorothy Michaels. I think that she loves having a woman friend who is. I mean, it's like you and me, dude. Where people have said to us they like the podcast because it's so rare for two men to love each other. to be
two platonic. What was that, Wayne's World? I've learned that two men can love each other in a platonic way.
Yeah, and I don't mean that to sound cheesy. I think people like the fact that we're great friends.
Yep.
And I think that the thing that Jessica Lange is most offended by is that her great friend was lying to her the whole time. And so I think Dustin Hoffman thinks he still has a chance with her at the end of the movie, right? Like maybe we could date. I don't think she's there yet.
Right.
I think though she's great friends with him already. He says like we've done the hard work or something like that. That's pretty interesting.
It is. I just remember she said, I do feel something though, because he goes in to kiss her as Dorothy. Right?
Yes.
I haven't seen this enough times.
No, it's an interesting scene. And then when he goes and gives her the gift later as Dorothy, she still thinks she's Dorothy. And she says, I don't want to, this can't continue because I feel like I'd be leading you on. Okay. And I do love you, she's saying, but I can't love you. And I think what she's saying there is I can't love you romantically. Now, Dustin Hoffman at the end is like, yeah, but I was actually a guy the whole time, so maybe this could work. And then they walk out and the credits roll.
I like that there's no kiss at the end, though.
Yeah, definitely. It's great. It's a great movie. What do you think? Let us know. Thank you, man. Thank you to Jason for our graphics, Adam, our webmaster, Davis for music. They have friggin' stepped it up.
Oh my gosh. Launching the Patreon.
Yep.
We have taken the podcast from like about 10, 11 years of like about the same level of quality, audio, visually, all that stuff. And it has just this last couple of months, next level. So much in part due to Davis, Jason, and Adam.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
To wait, hold on. Shoot. Okay, go ahead.
Speaking of up,
yeah. Shoot. Sorry, bro.
It's okay. Should I keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Let me write
Speaking of upped quality, if you are a $13.1 a month donor patron on Patreon, you can see a Zoom call video of what you just heard, warts and all. Let me tell you, we are going to be editing some things out of this episode for sure, including our 2-minute trip to the bathroom. You'll see all of that.
Can't
and
see
more.
It, but you can just see our studios empty.
Right. So for half marathon patrons, you get to see everything right away. They'll have already seen this a week ago. Right.
Yeah, totally.
So go to patreon.com/2gomers. There's a lot of fun bonus extras. All right, dude. Great app.
Super fun, man.
All right, dude. Have a great week.
All right, you too, dude.
And happy viewing.
Right, let's stop that. Super sweet. Stop that. 1, 2, 3. Stop. Please.
Under 90, dude. That rules.
For sure.
All right, that's it. Patrons, whatever. That's it.
Patreon.
Half marathon donors. I'm just gonna drop this tomorrow.
Great.
On the secret site.
I think they can get are you still recording?
Yep.
One more glimpse. I think we take that last scene, that last 10 minutes, and put that into the results show, where we talked about did she like him or not, kind of thing.
Good. Yeah. Okay. And so we can shorten this app and we just put that right into the results show.
Yeah.
Should we just lift it right off of this one, or should we rehab that conversation?
No. Let's just lift it right off of this one and put it in the results. Not saying we're not trying to get sweet results, but we're trying to make the regular one as
Tighter.
tight as possible.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop this recording and then
All
we
right,
can stop
great.
the. Okay. Bye, patrons.